Hi, Shelly here. For this week's project, I'll be working on a 16 by 20 inch hardboard canvas. And I've gone through and pulled out some papers I thought would make pretty flowers. I've got a kind of an idea of what I want to do. And of course, it's going to go off in different directions as usual, but I'm starting out wanting to use these papers, but I feel like the magenta ones don't have enough of the yellow or my golden color, so I'm going to mix up a little bit more golden color. I've got a piece of needlepoint canvas here, and I'm just going to use a little brayer to put a little paint on it, and then I'll use it as a stamp on top of my papers. I stumbled upon these little polymer clay stamps or embossing plates. I'm not really sure what they are. I think they came directly from China because they took forever to get here, but they got here this week, and I used some extra leftover board that I have from my canvases and made them into stamps. They were really cheap. You got like 5 different designs for $2 and something. So I bought 8 of each design and made these boards. They gave me a very fine and delicate print, so again, really wanted to use them on my gel plate. So now I'm using these cupcake topper things that I've used many times in my videos, but I finally mounted them on some throwaway board, and man, has that made all the difference. Way more easy to use. The company that made these seemed to be out of business, but I keep an eye on eBay, hoping to find them once again or some different designs because I really enjoy them, but haven't found them yet. I usually don't show it, but I thought I would today. Whenever I have leftover paint from a project, I always pull out my little practice journal that I made and go through and just add some paint here and there in it to add, just, you know, have some little nice background pages, and it's ready to go when I want to play. I've really been having fun making some new papers for collage lately on my own. The keys, the clocks, the numbers, and some just different things that I've put together. I got to wondering if maybe there were some people out there that also like this kind of thing and would like to have some of these papers for themselves. And I thought I'd try something new. So if you'd like me to email you a couple of JPEGs, or I don't know if I have them in PDF form or JPEGs, but either way, leave me a comment down below, and the first few people to comment, probably I won't even get one person, but if I get a whole bunch, which I probably won't, then I'll pick like the first 5 or whatever and email you some of my papers, a couple of my papers. Today I got a couple of envelopes in the mail that had the security envelopes that have that mesh on the inside, and I thought, well, that'll be fun. I've seen other people use envelopes in their collage, so I decided I'm going to try using that today. But as you will see, as I start putting them on, that ink starts to come off a little bit of those envelopes. So this will probably be the last time I will use them, but it was fun for today, and glad I tried it. But probably will not be doing this in the future. And I'll put everything down with some matte medium. And as always, at the end, I take a couple of baby wipes and tap all over gently, just to make sure everything's even and my texture's all the same. I was watching Jackie Bernardi working on a collage this week, And at the end, she took, or once her canvas was dry, she took some paint and went over the whole thing. She had a lot of texture, and mine is pretty smooth, but she put paint on all over everything, and it really went into the crevices of the texture, and I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to try that here. I did not have that result because I didn't have enough texture, I don't think. So all I got was a mild gray tinge to my background, which is fine. And then we'll try it again another time when I've got a lot more texture. For my next layer, I get some gesso and put it in a cup. And I want to scrape it on instead of using modeling paste. I don't want it to be very thick, but I do want it to be just a little bit raised. I've taken one of the designs off of my mini mandala stencil and made it into several different sizes, cut it out, and I'm going to use that to put different size mandalas all over my canvas in the background. I don't get a real nice perfect transfer. Well, I rarely get a nice perfect anything at any time, but certainly not with gesso. It was not a super crisp application. So I do try a dauber to see what that does, and it works, but again, not what I'm looking for. So I decide it's just better to go in with my palette knife and not be too picky about it. Most of it's going to be covered up anyway, so why am I stressing about this? For my background color, I decide to try something new again, and I pull out some of my old gelatos from my scrapbooking days and some other water-soluble crayons that I bought at Walmart a while back. And you know, just like a lot of art supplies, you buy them and you have great hopes for them, then you don't use them that often, whether you forget about them or they didn't work the way you wanted them to. For me, I just forget about stuff. So I'm really trying to be intentional about going through my different parts of my creative space and what haven't I used for a while? What can I incorporate? So anyway, that's what I'm doing here. So I'm just going to go ahead and quickly put on some different blues here and there. And then I get out one of my chip brushes and some water and just go and start blending that way. That works great. A lot of fun. Now I pull out my soft pastels that I keep in this little plastic tote, and I'm going to see how they do on top of the water-soluble crayons. I get out some off-white, mix up a little blue, and then I'll start applying it to the canvas. I'm not exactly sure what look I'm going for here, but I do know that I'll know it when I see it. While my canvas is drying, I pull out my papers, and I took all my mandalas and made circles that were just a little bit bigger than each one of my mandalas and cut them out of cardstock just to be a guide here. And I'm going to go through and just trace out some different sizes and cut out some different papers and try to figure out how I want my composition to look. My canvas is dry, so I'm trying out my papers on the canvas, and I'm loving that. But I decided, you know what it needs is a little bit more. It needs some blue. I'm liking the blue, need a little more blue. So I pull out some more of my papers, and then I'm gonna try putting a few of the blue on and see what I think of that. And I hope you don't mind, but it's very boring watching me cut out a bunch of circles. So I just skipped ahead to the end, and this is what I'm starting with. I've got this green paper that I really like, and I'm just going to roughly cut some stems for my flowers. Once I've got my plan of attack ready, I go in with my matte medium and start applying my flowers and stems. Once that layer is dry, I'll come back in with my modeling paste and my stencil and put a mandala on each flower circle. I'm applying my paste quite thick because I really want it to stand out. I'll have quite a bit of cleanup to do once it's dry, but that's okay. It's super simple and easy to do. I think the hardest part is not letting my stencil lay down on top of a portion that I just did. And I will go and do all of my flowers except two. The two of them are just too close together, and I need it to dry, my paste to dry a little bit before I can come back in and finish those last two. I love this paste. This is the paste that I buy, the Alex Fast Dry that I get on Amazon these days, and it's good for 50 years on the outside of your home. So it's inexpensive, and I love that it sets up, and I can start painting if I want to on a Depending on how thick the application is, I can start painting within 20 minutes. It'll dry to a really hard texture over the next few days. This application is pretty thick, so I will let this dry overnight so that I can sand it tomorrow. The next morning, my canvas is dry. Again, not hard. I could stick a fingernail and make a dent in this paste at this point. But if I am gentle and I can sand it, no problem. I use a couple of different grits here, and I like to use a circular motion, and that keeps me on top of the paste and not bothering my layers down below. And I'll just go until I get them. I'm not trying to sand too much off, but just get any weird edges off. I did my initial sanding outside because it is very dusty and messy. And then I'll grab a couple of baby wipes and gently go over everything to make sure I've got all the dust taken care of. I outline all of my papers with my acrylic markers. I got this nice little set off of Amazon at a good price a few months back, and I have not regretted it. I've been going back and forth trying to decide how I'm going to address my modeling paste on top of my flowers. And I decide, well, we've already done the gelatos, so let's just try putting on some more of the gelatos. So I'm going to start out with a brush and the gelatos for a while, and then you're going to see I really get tired. This is really fun at the beginning. And then I get tired of getting just a little bit of bang for my buck. So I'm just going to go ahead and start rubbing them right directly onto the paste. Using a mixture of my finger and a baby wipe, and just playing around, trying some different things, experimenting until I get the look I like. It took me a while to figure out what to do for my leaves, but I finally decided I want to put half a leaf of each leaf in this colorful green paper on the bottom left, and then the other half on a solid green. So I'm just painting some papers really quick of the green with some water, and I want to be able to see the writing in the background. I'm going to do a couple different ones to see what I like best. I just happen to be doing this in the evening, so I will let these dry overnight, although I'm sure that they didn't take very long to dry. And then we can decide which ones we want to use in the morning. I decided to use the leaves from my hummingbird in Bee Balm canvas from a couple of years ago, and I resized them on my scan and cut program and then cut them out with my scan and cut. And I also put a little kind of an S-curve down the middle of each one so that the halves would come out separate. It was a lot of work to go through and match up the sizes, but it was well worth it, I think. Hopefully you agree. And then I'll put them all down with my matte medium. Once my leaves are dry, I'll go back in with my acrylic marker and outline all of them. I really love how these leaves turned out, and I particularly love the green papers that have those black flowers in the background. I really thought those really turned out cool. Well, that's my project. Again, if you're interested in my collage papers, leave me a comment down below and I'll get a hold of the first 5 people and let you know how we can get that going. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you'll join me in my next video. Bye for now.